All right, good evening, good morning, good night, etc. Welcome to King's Quest 8 Mask of Eternity. If you know nothing about King's Quest, you're in for a treat. If you do know about King's Quest and you haven't closed the stream yet, please continue to watch. I guarantee this is going to be more pleasant than you think. I could go over the plot, but there's not much to it, so we'll just go ahead and get started.
All right. I'm good if you're good, if everybody else is good.
Well, good. All right. So we'll select the combat difficulty here. Time will start on pressing easy. No need to make this harder than it has to be. All right. I'll get moving here in 3, 2, 1. So bad news, a terrible tempest came through the town and turned everyone into rocks, except for Connor here. He's a tanner and a very well-spoken peasant.
And what is this?
So just to get started, you're going to notice a couple of things about Connor. First, that he is a terrific athlete. I mean, look at that 30-foot horizontal leap. My goodness gracious. I'm going to do a couple things here that are not going to make a lick of sense. The first being that we're going to clip through this wall. That's the second thing you're going to notice about Connor. If he changes his self-perception, he can clip through walls. They're mere suggestions.
Egad, dark
So what I did just there, best way to summarize it is basically it was a plot trigger. We need to be accosted by an evil shadow guy. We just skipped that cutscene, but Connor has to complain about it later, so he has to know it's his thing. We're going to get an exposition dump from this kindly wizard. Actually, no, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. That takes too long. We're going to run away from him. We're clicking on him while we hop away. Save the game and load it, which is going to enable the game to continue while I pick up a little grocery list of items we'll need for the rest of the run.
Hello there.
First, of course, is a candle in this church. Sometimes if you really... There we go. Get your camera angle right, we can just stick our hand into a wall and take a candle out. He might get hungry later. Let's pick up a few mushrooms here. Oh, come on, where's that last one?
Tell me, good wizard.
And this is the most stressful part of the run. I'm going to do a series of very peculiar, very precise backflips to get into the second floor of a watermill. Trust me, the regular way takes too long. Gosh, let's see if I get this. Ooh, so far so good.
The Mask of
Ooh,
Eternity.
all right. Biggest anxiety point in the run is done. That rope and grapple will be helpful later, a handful at times, so might as well get that while we're doing our shopping list. Last little item we need here is way up here. Basically, it's a little mini mausoleum. By running too far ahead, we have gotten the wizard to stop talking. So if we press escape twice, he will continue talking, and that'll be important for reasons that will be apparent very shortly. Oh, also, he says zounds a lot. I should really take a count, but it's a lot. One last little wall clip into this mausoleum. Perfect. And we're going to get a ring off a dead hero. This is basically a list for a spell later that we're going to need.
Forgive me, great knight, but I will need
Now,
your
we've just
rainbow to
traversed
achieve my
a lot of
quest.
territory here while that wizard was yammering on, and I was a little concerned about doing it in a timely manner, not just because this is a speed run, but because when that conversation ends, as it is about to once wizard here finishes up one last paragraph, he's going to trigger a cutscene, and Connor is not going to be there for it, so the game has to correct for this by sending him all the way back from this area to where we started. And there's our boy. We're getting a mini-map. This was 1998, and they really wanted to show off all the fancy 3D, so of course we have to have this fancy mansion map come to you.
I am grateful, sir.
I'm going to click on him to keep his second convo going, which is also exposition critical, but also very boring. I have been told, got the donation incentive for a very special piece of equipment for Connor, so we are deviating to get some items we need to actually get said item. We're going to the wizard's house. Of course, it was on a tower, classic wizard shtick. So let's throw our hook and grapple up there. Gonna escape twice again. That's to continue the wizard's background talk while we do our very important incentive work. This is just a series of nonsense, really. We're basically... Oh, and Connor is also talking to the wizard as he talks to himself, so be ready for that. We're basically doing little wizard puzzles to unlock a potion of reveal. There's like 3 in the whole game. It's used to... Connor, pay attention. It's used to unlock secrets in the game, most of which are plot relevant, but in good old level 1 here, which is Daventry, there's only 2 secret items here, neither of which are actually critical. The first being a little mini quest where you unlock a little Excalibur Lady of the Lake situation. You don't know it yet, but we don't need that. Our fist is going to be the best weapon we have. No, we are interested in a suit of armor that can be found way back at the starting area here. So let's go ahead and do our little long jumps over there. Now, what I'm about to show you can probably best be classified as an Easter egg, although I can tell you back when I played this was such a popular item to show off, and it is even functional. We see this dead tree here, pretty unremarkable, so we're going to slap our potion of sea stuff to get an apple, and... Oh, I am so sorry. So, this is birthday suit armor, that's what it's called in the console. Shoutouts to Allie for letting me do this. All complaints can be forwarded to her. As you can see, modded a very strategic mushy on the cake region, which is certainly a little more PG, although I do think it leads a little bit more to the imagination. Fun fact about this armor, I am calling it armor because it is. Our armor rating has gone up 10 points. This is in fact the best early game armor in the game. It will be optimal for the next 3 levels. I really appreciate the dedication to a joke like that, making sure that, no, of course I have to keep wearing this. It's because I'm a power gamer. So last little tidbit here, what we're doing, this shopping list of random junk is for a evil shadow monster be gone spell the wizard told us about. The last item we need is a pile of torch ashes. So we are sneaking into Castle Daventry to literally get some torch chunk. Say hi to King Graham and Queen Valenice. This is the only connection to the previous game, so if you're fond of those, we have now officially left the relevant KQ zone, and we are on to our own masky thing.
Hi, Graham. Goodbye, Graham. I love you.
Maybe we'll see you again someday. So back to the Kingdom of Daventry to get our little spell here. You might think we can walk out here. That's a bit of a graphical error because the game doesn't expect me to be in here without removing a waterfall. So we're going to have to clip out the hard way. This might be a good time to talk about the clip, seeing as how this one is about 3 walls worth of wall. As you can see, basically I am switching perspective between third person and first person at a rapid pace. This makes Connor's character model take one little step, which for whatever reason lets him clip into objects just a teeny tiny bit. So if we do that frequently and coupled with stepping at a particular angle, then we can get through pretty much any door, any wall, any obstacle we need to in the game. As you can imagine, this is heavily abused and will make for a smooth 40-45 minute experience compared to a game that's pretty chunky to complete if you're doing it the legitimate way.
Can I say?
And let's give our
I have found
assorted spell items to good old Wizzy here.
I was ready for you to end that sentence with a nice smooth 40 to 45 frames a second.
Oh no, we are frame conservationists here at Mask of Eternity. Why do something in 30 frames that you can do in 10?
Sacred flame from the church.
Good work, lad. Good. All 3 items.
10 frames a second.
Now,
I
lad,
too am a sweary fan.
By all the spirits of the light, brighten the darkness of the night.
You can tell they were also very part of this little sequence here where the spell involves whatever's going on with his arm. Smacks our guy with a hula hoop. He's taking it very well. Hits a quick dab, and he's done. Oh man, Mushy there is really adding some pizzazz to this interaction.
Your help has been immeasurable. May we meet again in better times.
All right, we are finally done with good old Daventry, and we can get on with the other 7 levels of this game. Our to-do list, we have a piece of the Mask of Eternity. That was that big chunk of gold that he had at the very start. And we need to find 4 additional pieces of the mask, slap them all together in a place called the Realm of the Sun, and then everything will be fixed. We'll mostly do that. We're going to skip 2 of those mask pieces for reasons. But because that's our only objective, we can skip a lot of content. This game loves multiple angles of the same shot. They get absolutely carried away with it.
I have passed through. 'Tis the dimension of death.
Now, if you were playing this game casually back in the day, back in the 5 days or so when this was released before Half-Life came out, I don't know why Sierra did it that way. They published both of these games. You think they would space those out? This is probably where you stopped. This level is very large, kind of obnoxious, and just absolutely riddled these skeleton boys who are absolutely coming for a piece of Connor's flesh, as they sometimes say. This is the quickest segment of the speedrun, which is just delightful. I am making sure these skeletons follow me because I need one of them for some fancy speed tech. This gate, I need to hop over without unlocking it. I need that skeleton's head to backflip on and then backflip over the gate, and we are done. We have just skipped a very annoying puzzle, a very dramatic long cutscene, and we are on our way to the far northern end of a veritable maze of skellies to jump over the river Styx, which is originally intended to be a... ooh, I got hit by a fireball there. That doesn't sting. Which is intended to be a barrier while you go and do quest stuff, but who has time for questing? Let's see if I can pull this off in third person. And sorry, go ahead. We have a slow save coming up here.
I'd like to explain, because someone was asking in the chat, in the base game, the birthday suit, the front area does have a King's Quest logo covering it, but there was full booty butt on display in the base graphics.
Oh goodness, yes.
Like, it was full booty. But honestly, can we get some appreciation for Lemming? Learned how to mod the textures in this game just for us.
Oh yeah, no, graphic design is my passion. I do have to shout out a community member who goes by Modest Mouse in the KQ Runners Speedrunner Discord, who was playing around with this earlier, so I was able to ping them and be like, hey, how do you do this? I cannot get our sophisticated 256 color Mushy to play ball with the 32 colors we got working here in Mask, and they were very helpful and really helped me get the ball rolling. So group effort, solid community win here. Gonna pass a Deku Tree. He has something helpful to say. And gonna do the first person here because we actually walk pretty slow in water in third person, but it's really not a huge deal here in first. The mushrooms, as you can see, were to survive this green poison that was slowly eking away at us. What we're doing here is getting a plot MacGuffin to unpoison the swamp. A vile swamp witch has sadly greenified all the parts that are not supposed to be green, and we need to fix that by getting a golden ladle to use in her poison cauldron. That sounds like a euphemism, but I promise it's totally benign. So she kept it up here in your run-of-the-mill stone door trap compound thing. We're once again going to take advantage of our handy-dandy clips. I personally really struggle with clipping through doors. Walls are easy. Doors, for whatever reason, they take a little bit more effort here, and I think I got it. Perfect. Thankfully, clipping through that door turns off a bunch of annoying traps that are normally trying to light up Connor here. So we have our golden ladle in hand. We can now beeline to the end of the level. I'm going to click on the door to trigger a cutscene, which will teleport us back
Much larger than my...
to the front side of that door where we need to be. Shout out to Connor's fully closed arm in that cutscene. I guess they didn't account for me wearing the best armor in the game for that part. Did a quick little damage cancel there. If you equip and unequip your weapon, in this case our fist, during that animation we cannot die from fall damage, which is normally something Connor loves doing. No in between. It's either you survive or you die. So we're gonna do our little long jump, see if we can jump on this guy's head. Love it. And keep moving here to the Swamp Witch's castle. And get a little bit poisoned. Fortunately, there's a little exploit in the game where between levels 8 and 13, you can just pop a healing item which arbitrarily levels you up and also, in turn, keeps us healed. Get a particular angle here. Come on, there we go. Cauldron, I can see you. Ah! All right. There we go. I'm not going to take the time to actually clip into here when I can just do that. So we have Unpoison the Swamp here, which will trigger the appearance of the best character in the game, King Mudge. And Connor can't even get out the door to greet him because we never opened the door, so he's just going to kind of awkwardly shimmy off camera. I don't know what voice direction they had, but I think this guy really nailed Snail.
Who are you, sir? Snail?
Anyway, he's really happy that we killed the Swamp Witch, that he apparently cannot see in front of him, so he's just giving us a quick shout out for that. If there are any donations, this guy's going to go on for about another 30 seconds or so.
So I would like to take this time
I did,
to
sire.
plug the charity. For those that don't know, we are raising money for the Trevor Project.
Tolerate that old biddy, especially after she poisoned our
And we are currently at
lovely
$6,000, which is amazing. But can we
water is pure
possibly complete that Yakuza Like a Dragon incentive now? It is currently only at $50, and it is for the runner to do Baka Mitai at the karaoke bar.
Well, that seems like a no-brainer. You gotta do that for the memes. Anyway, King Mudge is gone. He never comes back. He did give us a nice nifty whirlpool to get to the next level. So let's just go ahead and clip out of this swamp castle. I'm sick of it. Oh, come on, Connor. There we go. There are teeny tiny visual cues for those that took me a while to take note of. But once you see them, you cannot unsee them, and you usually know you've landed the clip. We are now into the underground realm of the gnomes. A very bland, very boring, long-winded mineshaft of a level. It's so drab, even poor Mushy's colors get washed out because they don't have anything vibrant for this level.
This must be the realm of the gnomes.
Fortunately, this level is crazy busted, so we're going to do our little wall clippy again. I think I got it. I am going to save here, partially because we made a lot of progress, but also because we are about to go well and truly out of bounds here. I apologize. I know this looks pretty dark on screen, but we do have Connor's shining light here to guide us. Between just some prior runner knowledge and the handy dandy mini map in the bottom right, I am traversing to a point in the map where we need to get some plot MacGuffins for later in the game. You could probably stop long jumping. That is a recipe for disaster. We are basically on top of the level right now. Just need to skip a lot of really annoying enemies, a lot of windy paths, things like that. So I'm coming up to this very particular point here where We are entering a big antechamber where a little mini boss is located. You probably hear a little dragon worm slithering around. Gonna do another safety save. I'm gonna be doing a lot of that here in Gnome World. Just a lot of opportunities to fall off the edge of the universe here, and splat into Hades. Let's just get one more clip here. These walls are fun. It's one clip into the wall, and there's a second clip into the one that's perpendicular to it. Gonna very slowly eke our way, 1 foot inside, 1 foot off. There we are.
What is this odd contrivance?
Try and grab that odd contrivance.
What purpose with that lodestone and hovering crystal
As well as
serve?
that lodestone. Both of these are for mission critical quest to turn in to keep the game moving. Once again, gonna do another save here. And do my precarious little walking here. I dare not do this in third person because Connor in third person is crazy wobbly. The fact that they had to go through the effort of animating him walking seems to make him that much more unwieldy to control. Whereas first person, I mean, it's still tank controls, but it's a little more manageable. There's a little more precision to it. So I've done one clip. Ooh, look at that, just quality chest hair shot. I'm doing one more with very limited visual information here to actually clip back into a hallway. We're really trying to avoid... Did we get it? Yes. Okay. Whew. I often struggle with that. The total lack of visual knowledge. As you might imagine, not great. All right. Anyway, I know he complained about it being too dark, but as you can see, this really ain't that bad. Not compared to where we just were. Gonna try to avoid these manta ray bats electrocuting us. We are going to do our first combat of the game with 2 of these bats coming up. And that's the third thing you're going to notice about Connor. The guy's got a real mean left hook. Punching the wings off bats. Really, really next level stuff. In fact, the fist weapon, the starter weapon, because we're supposed to get a lot more daggers and axes and swords and all that, none are better than the fist here because the developers forgot to factor in attack animations, and the fist goes crazy fast, and so its DPS is just superior to all but one end game sword, which means we are very happy to never pick up a melee weapon if we can help it.
Let us hope it will work.
Is that great game design? I don't know, but it's great speedrun design.
Aha! Wait, mortal.
Can I ask you a
I must
question?
explain.
Yes.
What got you into this? Of all the King's Quest games, why 8?
So this is actually a bit of an outdated feeling, but at the time, I just really appreciated how delightfully broke this run was. This game is not the favorite of the community, to put it mildly, but I've always been something of a Mask of Eternity apologist. Not that I'd recommend it to everybody, but I have a fondness for it, which is not wholly reasonable. So it was a combination of liking the game and just really falling in love with the tricks here that are pretty, I think, are pretty entertaining, and they're a lot of fun to pull off. But I have to really qualify that now because some of the other King's Quest games have some really fascinating tech that was discovered in the past 2 years, and it really, if you have the time, I would really check out some other KQ runs, especially 6. That game has been absolutely optimized to a degree I would have never thought possible, and has some really cool stuff for a point and click.
That's kind of surprising considering how expansive 6 is as a game.
Yeah, the main thing, and I remember actually before speedrunning thinking, like, I do like 6. I wonder if I should speedrun it, and thinking, it's going to be just a lot. It's going to be me doing a fast walkthrough. And then I realized I could not be more wrong when I saw somebody manage to skip the entire 5 gnome sequence, which is easily like 4 or 5 minutes just time lost there. So there's a lot of fancy stuff that's been discovered, and it's really cool.
Alas, in what scorching land have I found myself? 'Tis beyond my reach.
Anyway, we still have a good old mask here with its nice and easy clips, confusing design, and graphics that didn't look that bad back in the day, but they certainly look a little more questionable now.
It's worth noting this came
yes.
out the same year as Half-Life.
It did, and same publisher. And despite KQ being something of a flagship series for Sierra, they're like, you know what we should do is release this game like 5 days before the original Half-Life. Which I think any charm this game may have had with contemporary gamers probably went out the window as soon as they played Half-Life, but it had a good run there. Here we are at a dwarf fortress. We're gonna punch these dwarf necks until they collapse. I grabbed some safety, the marathon safety healing crystals earlier. I'm not sure what he does with them. I think he just eats them. But just so that particular segment doesn't go too haywire. So the Barren region is a bit of an ironic name. It is in fact the home of the majority of the non-violent NPCs, of which we're going to meet none. Oh, I am so sorry for that camera angle. But that jump had to be done. We need to get on top of the dwarf fort here and get to a particular spot. This lava will kill you instantly unless you fall on this exact corner, which for some reason does not, which is great because now we can clip into the wall and get to the room we need to be in. Normally we have to rescue the Queen of the Ice Nymphs here. There she is, but that takes way too long, so we're just going to grab the MacGuffin's Shoe and Unlock with good old wall clips and keep it moving here. I'm actually going to save here. I really struggle with this little tech coming up. It's basically half a wall clip that I'm trying to pull off because I don't want to go into the whole area. I just kind of want to eke out Connor a teensy bit so he can do a little puzzle and then phase back into the wall. This is actually looking pretty good. Oh, let's do one little inch farther. I also don't want to go fully into this area and get literally hammered by this dwarf. Here we go. This allows me to get a little steam cap, and there's another one in here which I can click and just pick up through the bars of that jail cell. Mask is a very well programmed game with no major issues. Those are for a steam-powered elevator to actually get out of this area. But before we do that, we do actually have to do what we came here for and pick up a piece of the Mask of Eternity.
Oh, a piece of the mask.
Mask pieces are typically guarded by these goopy guys. They're supposed to be like tough enemies to fight, but they don't move from their spots. So let's just go ahead and disengage and clip out. With the exception of a couple of bats and a couple of dwarves, Connor really at his core is a pacifist. Safety saving here because there's a section coming up which loves to casually glitch on me and kill PvP attempts. Gonna pause time here for tutorial box, move the camera around. Oop. Uh-oh, yeah, and this is what I was afraid of. Let's give this another couple of shots here, and if it's really not looking good, I do have a strategic save file for this exact reason. This part is absolutely dreadful, like even playing casually. I don't know why they have this really awkward automatic camera perspective going on here. All right, let's give that one more go, and then I'm just gonna have mercy on you and pop us into the next level here. Freeze time. Yes! Oh, okay, good. Woo. Third try's not even that bad. I hate that segment. I really need to find a way to make that more reliable. Nothing worse than actually getting this game to behave in a world record pace and then you get to that segment.
This is a frigid
Oh,
land.
Connor,
sure.
I'm so sorry. I took you to Ice World. That was mean of me. You take off your clothes for charity, and this is what I do to you. One last save game for one last fall damage cancel. Just to take the abuse further, we're going to launch Connor into a frozen lake here, which does, of course, slowly kill us. I'm going to be careful to take a path here that doesn't step over a square that will instantly kill us. I'm not sure what the deal with that is. My best guess is left over from a previous version of the game where they wanted this lake to insta-kill you. Normally what you're supposed to do is rescue the ice lady that we briefly saw in Lava World, and she lends us an ice dragon to fly us across. I know that sounds cool, but it's not as cool as you're expecting, and you don't get mushy in that version. So we are long jumping our way over to an Ice Orc Citadel where another mask piece is located. So this is basically a long, drawn-out pit stop before we move on. There's one other mask piece we did not get, and that was located in the swamp. And the reason we didn't get it is that for whatever reason, the game does not count that towards your mask piece total. Not entirely sure why. Maybe they just figured there would be no way for you to conceivably get it and advance, which is logically true, but they failed to consider wall clip. I'm only going to kill one of these guys, and you'll see why in a second here. I'm going to try and dodge deadly icicle crossbows here to get to the top of the citadel using our rope and hook. Really, the way to get the mask piece here is a series of little plot triggers. Backstory being a king of some griffin people is locked away here, so we have to free him. Normally you find out what to do from a cutscene that I'm deliberately walking past, but this guy down here will have the key if I do this. Nice little aerial takedown.
I can't believe Assassin's Creed ripped off.
I know. It's just, classic. These classic AAA games, they never really call back to the classics. All right, now I could, now that we have our jail key, I could just rope and grapple back up, but I think if calculations are correct here, I am right above that Griffin King's cell, which means his actual keyhole to the jail must be about here. Let me just change my angle here a little bit. Oh no, did I do this wide? All right, yeah, let me try this one more time. And there we go. This is another cutscene teleporter.
Thank you, brave knight.
Griffin King's eyes, as you can see, are on the side of his head, which I think is why he doesn't react to what's going on with Connor. Anyway, by freeing that fella, we can trigger our next interaction here where he gets ambushed by another Ice Orc guy. But this guy has not played Assassin's Creed, so he's less good at it.
Prepare to die, mortal!
Not me.
That's a good comeback, Connor. Way to go. That's Sork. Don't worry about him. He's going to try and stop us, but he's not really too aggressive about it.
Bad place for such a wide gap.
No comment. So this is the part of the game that probably closely matches the originals in that this is just a very arbitrary and moon logic-y adventure game puzzle involving a door gap, an icicle, and some questionable thermodynamics with elemental-based archery.
Aha! Success.
We need an ice lever to unlock a little cell here that contains our mask piece. I spent so much time trying to figure out what that door gap was for when I first played this, and
It worked. I hope
of course it shatters immediately. Unfortunately, GeoCities back in the day had my back and helped me get through that puzzle. Once again, retreated to a cutscene with some very kind of questionable 3D animation, but you can tell they were really into it at the time. Like, what's he doing here?
I know it was mentioned earlier of where is he keeping the grappling hook with no clothes on,
Oh,
but I'm worried about where he was keeping that giant slab of ice.
it gets worse. There's some pointy objects coming up that I really try not to think about.
Another mask piece.
And he gave that lodestone to that gnome and didn't even tell him to wash his hands afterwards. It's just rude.
The mask belongs to my master. It will not aid you.
It will not aid you either.
You're probably sensing the pattern with Connor's comebacks here. He's got really a I am rubber, you are glue approach to combat taunts. Anyway, again, I don't want to fight that guy. That's time wasted. Let's just go ahead and wrap up Ice World. He's getting cold. So we're gonna do some long jumps through Yeti World here to get to the end and then clip into our next level. If you're still watching, you're probably wondering how on earth something like this gets made, and you'd be right to wonder. Although I can't help but shout out the fact that this game had an absolutely horrendous dev cycle. There were 3 different teams that worked on this sucker at 3 different times. And so it's really remarkable to me that this game even works. And it really works most of the time. Like, combat is obviously a little simplified, but the music is a bop. The combat, or the graphics, again, they looked not as horrible way back when. And they even had time to include birthday suit armor. Shout out to game development. All right. You probably saw a cool dragon up there. Sorry. I don't want to tango with him. We might get killed by these Yetis, though, because I can't clip to save my life all of a sudden. Oh, no. Yetis. Yetis. I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone. All right. Perfect. We got through there blind. Ooh, nope.
I would like to say, speaking about the development of this game, withstanding that it wasn't ghost-ridden and didn't get credit, all these amazing, terrible comebacks were seemingly written by Roberta Williams.
She will disavow this game like no other, but I think some of her influence really still came through. Oh, let me do a quick save here. This game soft locked on me earlier, and I never had that happen before, but... Oh, no, yeah, sure enough. Look at this. Okay. He's supposed to be doing something here, and instead he's just going to stare at this pedestal for the end of time, so apologies. It was getting a little suspicious that this game hasn't crashed yet, and it made up for it with a soft lock here, so bear with me. I'm going to get this back up for our tech team here. Actually, let me get that Discord stream up. Cannot stress enough how normal that is. But hopefully we look good over on the live stream.
I think it looks good.
Perfect. Well, it's about to look worse because we're about to enter a FMV style QuickTime cutscene, which is going to make the stream look a little bit wonky. I promise that's normal. It will go back to normal.
I love FMV. Games will never progress past full motion video.
I know. This game's due for a remaster. There's some kind of mocap energy going on. Whee! Dang, Comet couldn't even drop me off with the mask. He went to the basement. Oh well. All right, here's our last Assassin's Creed of the night. We're going to sneak up on this guy with no input from me. It's just how the game works. Thankfully, this was made before QuickTime events, so I just get to watch and enjoy.
By my oath.
Not even an
am I
ice pun.
really
Come
here
on, Connor.
in the
Ugh, amateur.
realm of the
All right,
sun.
first person because this part is brutal. These are very high damage dealing enemies, and they are absolutely everywhere. That green vial I have is basically something I picked up since I was doing a birthday suit detour anyway, and that's our emergency invisibility potion if I can't get this down. But so far we're good. Usually if we're gonna die in the segment, it's due to the little Medusa heads you saw trying to take a bite out of our boy there.
What is
But that's the hard part over. There's one more segment where we're gonna be juking henchmen,
I
but
know
it's
not
a
the
little
answer.
less intense than
I
that.
shall seek it.
This door gave us a quest. I respectfully decline. We are going to instead rely on old Clippy here. It is, however, my arch enemy doors, which does take a little bit longer for me. So that was relatively quick. You know what? Since I have it, let's just turn on invisibility. What the heck? This is what invisibility looks like.
Naked Connor, no trouble with monsters. Doors, though?
It's doors, yeah. I mean, that's good, right? You know, I don't want him just blasting through doors willy-nilly while he's dressed like that.
gainest thou the light?
I shall seek the answer.
You will not. We only seek door. Yeah, I'm trying to articulate why doors are harder. The best I can explain is I try and move Connor at a certain churn at a certain time for a wall, and doors are basically the opposite. Another prominent runner of this game, Chuck Rhodey, figured that out. And while it's not a perfect solution, it was the critical brain rewiring I needed to not spend like minutes upon minutes on those things. All right, this last section here is no combat, just they forgot to post people here. Not complaining. And the music's cool. So we're just gonna go to our third and final door clip.
Speak thou of order.
I know not how, yet.
And he's got it. All right. No more clips. We are on to boss fight. So that ghost guy, once we collect enough mask pieces, he'll let us in. We didn't do that, so I need to do a backflip through that top area here, which I'm normally quite good at. So naturally, it's not going to work during a marathon. There we go. They made that totally transparent, probably under the reasonable assumption that no one would actually get in there. Another chief advantage of doing that is we skip a cutscene / villain monologue with the bad guy, which means he does not spawn this dramatic wall of flames, which limits our ability to move. This is critical, because this guy will absolutely whoop Connor's mushy covered butt. But without the wall of flames here, we can go right behind him and just smack him a bunch. They did not code him to turn around. This hitbox is really weird too. You can like hit him from over here. And we're gonna knock him over and keep assembling our mask. I could explain why a visor just appeared on his head, but honestly, if you've been with me so far, I think you're just used to it now. All right, we gotta do this 2 more times here. Another nifty little bonus of the fist is that there is a special way to attack in this game where you hold down shift and Connor does a longer animation, higher damage dealing attack. The longer attack animation being the trade-off. But if you only have your strong bare hands, there's no extra animation, so you can just double your damage output with your left hook instead of your right. All right, one more beat him up, and then he's probably gonna have his revenge on me in this next segment. Despite all you have seen, this game is actually pretty light on the RNG. It more or less works the way you expect it to. That is not the case for our final little showdown here, which is slowly coming up. Oh, and there's the sword. He takes it out, and no, don't put it back. Ooh, cool. So we have assembled our mask. Even though we were missing 2 pieces, the game gets confused at this point, and as soon as you have them, and so you do. Although not enough for it to actually show up. It's just totally invisible here. Anyway, now that the mask has been restored, a convenient portal will show up where we can punch this guy back into it, and then it will be time.
And so
But,
you think.
Thou wilt not
Open
get
question
away
if it's going to be
with
first
this.
try or fifth try. So let's see how lucky we get here. All right, Duke's out. Safety save up. One knockback. Can we get one more? Ah, too bad. Although I did get to show off that you can keep your iframes going a little longer. My health was at 0 for most of that showdown, and I can keep it that way by spamming backstep, but he unfortunately was built pretty hard there, and he wasn't having it, and I ran out of time. Yes, all right, and that is time. Sorry for that being so abrupt. Oh, and there he goes. His name's Lucreto, by the way. We do miss that in the speedrun, but I promise there's nothing else to know about him.
GG.
Thank you. And for some reason, he has clothes on here at the end. And one last stream rude ending here, but I promise it'll pop back for the credits. This is the least satisfying ending of any King's Quest game, which is saying a lot. Anyway, there's our boy King Graham. He has been unstoned, as you will see here shortly. We also get a shot of Sarah being unstoned. I think this is supposed to be Connor's girlfriend, but our man shows absolutely no hint of heterosexuality throughout this game, so I'm going to say that's ambiguous. But as you can see, we do have his general greenery coming back, animals are frolicking. A couple of ghost guys pop out of our mask here. And that's it. It's not the best. But for my money, this game is absolutely delightful, and I appreciate you putting up with... actually, what was time on that?
Looks like 44:19.
With a crash, that is not too shabby for birthday suit percent. So thank you very much. I assume before they take me away here, quick shout outs to the King's Quest Speedrunner Discord, which helped me learn not just Mask of Eternity, but King's Quest games that people like too. Also, if you want to hear more about this particular game, fellow speedrunner of the series, One Short Eye, has a phenomenal breakdown of this and many other adventure game speedruns, so you can really see the love, heart, and a great breakdown of the tech that goes into all of them. So that is it for me. I know nothing about the Scooby-Doo run coming up, but I am intrigued, so I think that is worth sticking around for.
Indeed. But yes, thank you so much, Lemming, for that wonderful run and the birthday suit. It was very something.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, Slash. I'm sorry.
All right, coming up next, we have Scooby-Doo, Night of 100 Frights, all monster tokens by Nastani. So make sure and stay tuned for that. All right. While we're waiting on the next run, we do have a $50 donation here. It is from Robot Spacer. Thank you so much for that donation, Robot Spacer. And that is going towards the Yakuza Like a Dragon incentive. With that, it puts us at $100 out of $500. For those of you who don't know, we are raising money for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is actually the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention org for LGBTQ young people. That's right, they specifically focus on young people because they are very vulnerable. They provide support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs, 24/7 on phone lines, chat, text, social media. So every dollar you donate goes to a great cause to save the lives of LGBT kids.